All right, we are live. So welcome back to DAP University. So we got a lot to talk about in our stream today. The main thing that we're going to cover is how crypto adoption is about to go parabolic, specifically by one report that we've seen put out yesterday. Okay, we're going to talk about that and break it down for a pretty big player, not in the crypto space, who's making a massive bet on this movement. Okay, we're looking at a lot of other things that are amazing for crypto adoption. There's just money like flying into space from all, corners of the world. We got 14 new VC funds launched, 200 crypto startups raised $5 billion from VCs, 15 rounds of $100 million or more. NFT games saw 12 raises more than $10 million, and DeFi saw 13 raises larger than $10 million. So this space is going absolutely crazy. So we're talking about that. We're going to look at a lot of it that happened in the space yesterday, answer some of your questions, check out the crypto markets, and a lot more. So if you're around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step by step, start to finish, then head on over to dapuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, like nothing I'm saying in this video is financial advice, and there's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Just ignore them. Like I'm never going to try to give you my phone number on YouTube. Never going to ask you to send me crypto for a paid promotion. Never going to DM you, anything like that. So we got people jumping in the chat here. We got David Stone. Let's see here. We got Susanna, Michael, Andrew, Above Reality. THX like this, automatic beats, cryptology, Devon Shu. I'm saying that right. Welcome. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Before I do, if you're just tuned into our live streams for the first time in a couple weeks, I'm gonna welcome my co-host Walshy onto the channel. So Walshy's been helping, helping us prepare for these live streams, helping add value. And I've brought him on, so it's not me up here just like talking the entire time. So welcome, Walshy.
Yeah. Hey, morning, Gregory. Morning, Chad. Hey, everybody. Don't forget, if you have a story that you think that we should cover, you think it's interesting, my DMs are open on Twitter. Feel free to send it over to me. Just follow me at IamWalshyNFG. Yeah,
perfect. Anything you want to see talked about in the live stream, definitely hit up Walshy on Twitter. He's going to be our point man for collecting all the stuff that we talk about. So let's go ahead and jump into this first major thing that we saw yesterday, which is a report actually put out by Wells Fargo predicting that crypto adoption is about to go parabolic. So I'm going to pull this up on my screen here. I'm going to let Walshy kind of take the, give us the real quick summary of what's going on here. Let me see if I can share my screen here.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this. Make sure it works. Awesome.
If this isn't the most hype story that you've heard recently, I don't know what else, because this is quite excellent. This is actual acknowledgement from Wells Fargo, of course, the big evil banking conglomerate that right now in the crypto industry is the internet in the 1990s. I was alive in the 1990s. I was a wee little lad, and let me tell you, this is a very exciting time that what they're saying is true. Here's a direct quote. They say, "We believe that cryptocurrencies are viable investments today, even though they remain in early stages of their investment evolution." So they're calling it viable, guys. They're saying it's early, but not too early specifically. They've noticed that crypto is going through a hyper adoption period, a hyper adoption phase where, of course, back in 1999, it went from like 44 million people to 300 million in less than a year. And so that's what a hyper adoption is, just absolutely fast, adoption.
Yeah,
it really does flip the script, though. They flip the script rather when in the actual article I was reading, because they say that they actually don't recommend investing yet. So that's what's wild. They don't recommend investing quite yet, but they're saying it's early, and this is going to be one of the the biggest things, and everyone's in mass adoptions here. So what that tells me is that they're just really excited about developments, technology, hardware, infrastructure that's coming out this year.
Yeah, totally. And I guess I got a couple of thoughts on that in particular. So, I mean, first of all, everybody, we've heard the whole thing of like cryptos like the 90s for a long time, right? And so when you've heard that for 4 years, it's sort of like, okay, so like we're not exactly accelerating past the 90s if that's been true for that long. So, you have to take that with a grain of salt. But here we have actually acknowledgement from like Wells Fargo, right? Outside the crypto space. To me, that's massive validation for that idea. Okay. Now, a couple other things is, Wells Fargo is definitely going to have a certain number of clientele who are going to be looking to allocate to crypto and are looking for what their sort of formal opinion is on this type of thing. So I think that's one of the reasons they are not saying to invest in it right now, right? But there's those lots of implications with that. We're not going to totally get off into the weeds about whether they're trying to get in before they are or what. But anyway, at the end of the day, like, on this channel, I mean, it's really similar to what my philosophy is on this channel anyway, which is one of the best ways for people to get, reap the benefits of this opportunity in crypto is actually jump in the space, right? And it's not necessarily just about buying coins, right? I'm not saying that's bad. I mean, I personally do it. If you want to do it, it's fine. I'm just saying for most people to make a life change, right? Whatever their circumstances now to transition from this life to a better life, the easiest, I say easy. It's not that easy on you can't just flip a switch and make it easy, but you have more influence over getting in the space, working in the space, hustling, changing your career. And because we have this huge opportunity on the table, that's way more possible for more people because it generates demand for new talent in the space. And if you can become that talent, satisfy that demand, it's way easier for you to change your circumstances rather than just trying to pick the right crypto coins and wait for them to pop off. Because you have very little control over the crypto prices. You have way more control and more influence over your own destiny by working hard. So that's what I would say, which is very similar to the Wells Fargo thing is, but you look at this chart, it's absolutely crazy. If this is even close to true, it's like it's just going to go up for a long time. And part of it is when you reach this hyper growth phase, you have to, you have a lot of global population to saturate. You know what I mean? Like that curve can keep running for a long time before it flattens out. So, yeah, this is super exciting.
I love what you said there about becoming the talent because, yeah, that's absolutely right. Just investing, trading, that's just one small aspect of this industry in general. There's a lot of ways to get involved. Obviously, learning through DApp University, learning how to code is like one of the best. It's definitely the most profitable in terms of if you're just looking at it from the money. But if you're looking at it from the fun as well, you get this, the ability to create and build. And building is what is really profitable, really excellent, a lot of fun in this space. To that point, also DAOs. That's a great way to do it, like you said. For me, I was alone. I had no one to talk to until I started understanding DAOs and how to participate in DAOs. And so if you're one of those that you really want to get involved in this space, you want to become the talent, you really want to learn, I highly recommend you start looking at the DAO space because there are millions of people just like you that are looking to, join, looking to communicate, looking to just build relationships. Right. And that's how you become the talent, other people.
Yeah, totally. And that can also overlap with tokens and stuff too. I mean, that's one of the reasons that a lot of tokens are effective in the first place is the networks behind them. And part of the things that make those networks viable are the communities themselves. That's one of the things that makes them sticky. And I think it's one thing that people don't really understand that much about Web3 space, especially if they're coming from more of a boomer generation. You know what I mean? Like there's no shade on any boomers who might be watching this. I don't even mean that as a derogatory term. I know that comes off.
It's a mentality. It's a mentality. It's not an age.
Well, people use it, right? People use it. Like I just mean I mean people of the actual baby boomer generation. That's what I mean. Like I find it very common that they overlook the community aspect of that because I mean you've never been like. You've had very few cults, you know what I mean? Like in the stock market, you know what I mean? Like before we had tokens, all this type of stuff. But back in the day, I mean, it wasn't like you had all these, this community of it was all just like, we just care about the profit. That's kind of true in crypto too, but there's way more of a community around a lot of these tokens.
There's a lot more communities that have already established their wealth. And then at this point, they're just looking to build. Right. You, to your point, you definitely didn't see that in the old world legacy systems. It's just all profit driven there. Also, way harder to find friends in the legacy world unless you're already in that world. Right. But whereas with this, it's Web3. It's open. It's inclusive. Just go join.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So let's look at we got a bunch of other crazy raises. We're talking about adoption and things going parabolic. Part of the you can look at charts like this, that Wells Fargo put out and read their analysis, right? And you can kind of just take their word for it. But you can also look at the fundamentals, the data points themselves to actually kind of back this up. And one of the best ways to do that is to follow the money, right? Is to see like where are people actually investing in the space, because that's one of the biggest things that caused the Web 2.0 bubble to blow up was the venture capital. You know, like VC money was one of the biggest reasons that Web 2.0 just went parabolic, and we saw these insane outsized returns, inclusion of tech companies in the S&P 500, all this type of stuff. A lot of that had to do with early VC money. And so we're seeing just insane amounts of money go into the crypto space, which, you know, if you're looking at the momentum, you're looking at the fundamentals, this is another, data point headed in that direction. So let's look at a couple of these. So what is this one? January crypto VC roundup, a record-breaking month with nearly $5 billion in investments. You want to catch us up on that one, Walshy?
Yeah, that's just absolutely nuts, right? 5 billion total. So there was a ton of rounds across the entire ecosphere, different industries. There was 15 rounds of $100 million or more. Number one there was Fireblocks. They raised $550 million. Tons. Fireblocks is a institutional custody like service for institutions. So you go to them if you're a large institution, you want to go ahead and invest. They help take care of their funds. 550 million for that, guys. That's a lot of institutions going to Fireblocks. That's a lot. And again, like we were kind of saying yesterday, doesn't matter your take on VCs, whether you think they're good or bad. When they inject money into the space, then that like number going up. Right.
Yeah.
But outside of that, NFT gaming itself saw 12 raises larger than 10 million. DeFi and infrastructure for DeFi saw 13 raises larger than 10 million. This is just substantial cash right now. If you're a founder, if you have an idea, if you know how to build, you can get a team together. There is money allocated for you.
Yeah, totally. So I want to keep going on this, but I just see a couple questions in the chat that I want to go after. What someone says, what is the DAO space? And they spelled it DOW. So it's not DAO like Dow Jones Industrial. It's like DAO. So that's okay. It's a common, like, if you're just saying it, you never see it printed, like it's really easy to think that. So basically a DAO or DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So what these are is they are, organizations that run the blockchain. They're powered by smart contracts. And one of the most common like ways this happens is essentially you have this smart contract that has like some tokens with it, and the people who own those tokens are part of that DAO, or they have voting power in that DAO, and that DAO basically governs like money or maybe some other actions in the blockchain. And one of the most common things is like you participate in the DAO and you fund stuff and you vote where that money goes. There's lots of other use cases, but that's one of the primary use cases right now. They might govern protocols. Like if there's a DeFi protocol out there that's supposed to be upgraded or changed or something, you can vote as a token holder on what that's going to be. We actually just did a cool tutorial into the blockchain mastery program on how to create a DAO. So if you're inside of there, check that out for sure. So I just want to answer that question because I saw it in the chat. It's a good point of clarification.
I'd like to add in, DAOs are great communities, right? Just like Gregory said, they definitely control and maintain a treasury. It's a group of people. It's not like a singular person in most cases, operating from that treasury. It's a large group. They typically come together. But it's communities, and there's different types of DAOs. There's different types of decentralized autonomous organizations that, serve different purposes. I am part of a couple of DAOs, whether it's an investing DAO, where everyone just gets together and invests together, or a really great altruistic one is called Creator DAO. Great plug for them, which is for freelance content creators to go into the DAO and create content for projects that, have come to them for help. And of course, they will pay you to do this. So it's a freelancing DAO for content creators. Just a couple of examples. There's a lot more out there, whether it's for like coin research, whether it's for like NFT investing, NFT gaming, large like guilds come together for gaming. There's just so many different types of decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs out there.
Yeah, totally. So in addition to, some of the crazy raises out there, I want to pull this one up. So we also saw Polygon raising $450 million.
Didn't they just raise like $1 billion?
It's just like it just keeps on going and going. You know what I mean?
This one has some pretty big names in it too. That's what I
Yeah.
really like about this. I mean, Polygon, of course, everybody, if you don't know what Polygon is it's the side chain to Ethereum. It started off as the abbreviation of Matic. So if you're looking for it online, you'll actually find it as MATIC. But it
That's the
operates as
Matic
a side
token.
chain in tandem with Ethereum. This recent raise was led by Sequoia Capital and 40 other investors. I thought some really big names I wanted to mention was Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank on NBC, right? Invested in
Right.
this, as well as Alameda Research, of course, basically FTX. Also invested, of course, into Polygon. Polygon's going to be doing a lot of gaming endeavors. I've seen a lot of communities start building on Polygon. I know personally a lot of DAOs like to excuse me, like to basically spend on Polygon. They don't like to spend on Ethereum because it's a little expensive. They prefer to spend on Polygon. You can see that trend also with L2s. Some stay on Ethereum as well. That's why this is really big, because Polygon keeps getting bigger and bigger and the use cases keep expanding. You keep seeing large names coming into the actual ecosystem. Polygon Sandeep Naiwal, he detailed some of the plans, and 100 million of that 450 is going to go into the ecosystem. And then there's just a whole bunch of chunks of 10 million going to scaling products. So it raises the question if you think that Polygon might be like an underdog, because everyone talks about L2s, but here we have Polygon, whose own token price is 5x since I think January of 2021.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Do you think they're an underdog?
I mean, compared to what, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the question. Are they? Do they not get as much attention as they deserve? That may be the question, or something like that, or maybe not as much market cap as they deserve relative to everything else. It's hard to say, right? Because at the end of the day, like it is about. We just have to see what sticks. I mean, there's lots of projects I think are awesome in the space. At the end of the day, the market's going to decide, right? So what I would say is when you see the fundamentals pointing in the right direction, the likelihood of that increases, right? When you keep seeing these massive raises come in, you keep seeing the user metrics go up, it makes that more likely. So based on that line of thinking, my soft answer is yes. That's not investment advice. I'm not saying like go buy the Polygon token, it's going to blow up. It's not what I'm saying. But that being said, this is all relative to, I think the Nintendo is undervalued. So, it's kind of like compared to what?
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Yeah, compared to what exactly? I mean, everyone in it, some really big names investing. Of course, it itself is quite interesting technology. So I'm again, no investment advice, guys, but a lot of people seem to love it.
Yeah, totally. Let's see here. So let's see, we got a couple of questions in the chat here.
I saw a pretty interesting one.
What's that?
Someone asked if you're building an NFT, if you should create a DAO.
That's a good question. So you mean you plan to create an NFT? Should you create a DAO around that particular thing? It depends on what your NFT does, I guess. If you're an artist who is simply just selling their digital artwork and that's the whole idea, it's just like a one and done. Let's say you're a photographer, for example, and you already have like this collection of, 10,000 photographs that you've taken over a decade-long career or something like that, right? And you're going to sell those as an NFT. I mean, that's kind of like the whole idea is that they're buying the creator at that point. They're not buying necessarily like something to govern, right? They're not buying a community to get into. It's kind of surrounding you. So I'd say no in that case. I mean, I'm not saying you couldn't. I'm just saying that it's probably less likely that's going to work. But if you like want to start the next Bored Ape Yacht Club or something like that, and you're like, I'm gonna create an NFT that has like voting rights and like has passive income, which you probably shouldn't do that. You're probably gonna get in trouble with the regulatory bodies if you live in the United States. And he's got all this other stuff. That's when a DAO probably makes more sense if you want to do something like that, because then you have something where the community of you're trying to like the goal, the product is not the NFT, it's the community, right? In the other case, the product is not the NFT, it's the artist. In this case, the product is the community, not the NFT itself. So that's where a DAO makes more sense to me.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree there. I would add in, like you said, it really just depends on the use case itself. I'm advising a DAO that has this really interesting NFT-fi kind of use case where essentially, there's basically like DeFi mechanics built in. That definitely needs a DAO, 100%. You need a community backing that. That is not just a solo artist on their own. So I definitely agree with you, like 1,000% there.
Yeah, totally. So let's see. Trying to see this. Did you see anything else in the chat that looked interesting here?
Someone's asking if they're broke, what they can do. This is an investing advice, guys. If you're broke, don't go into crypto.
Here's the thing. If you don't have, if you can't, put a reasonable amount of here's the whole catch-22 with crypto. I don't really give investment advice in this channel, but I'm way more comfortable giving like career advice, but this is like in line with investing. So if you don't have, like, it's hard to make life-changing money in crypto without putting a significant amount of it in it to where it makes you sick to your stomach when you go watch it up and down. And even if you buy like a coin for $100 and you somehow make 100x and it's worth, $10,000 at that point, and now that's like, a significant amount of money to you, then you're probably like, you have to sit there and let it ride for it to keep going up to like really truly life-changing, like long-term wealth, right? That's gonna make you sick to your stomach. So if you're not there, like, how can you do that? Well, the easiest way is to do something like I was saying before, where you have the most influence over, which is to reskill and earn more money, like increase your earning capacity. That's the easiest way to make outsized investment returns if you don't have a lot of money to invest. And that's exactly what, that's exactly what you can do inside this industry. So that's if you're broke, that's my recommendation.
Exactly right. Yeah. I have a quick question followed by a longer question. So the quick question is, what's the best roadmap to follow to learn to actually find a career in Solidity?
Definitely check out that video on my YouTube homepage, how to become a highly paid blockchain developer in 2022. That's the entire roadmap from start to finish.
Yes, exactly.
I just hired somebody as a part of the team. You're going to see a video coming out with him pretty soon. He did that entire thing, like literally from A to Z, and it worked. And I hired him. So, and he was also, before, like when he applied to work here, he was looking at a bunch of other positions too, and they were all really impressed with his skills. So it works.
Love that. Yeah. And then, I just lost it. 1 second. Says, oh no, I lost it. No.
That's
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a decent question. Essentially, the question paraphrased was, are these new raises like existing startups that have already raised before? Are these brand new startups? And the answer to that is both. It's definitely new startups, and it's definitely existing like Series B, Series C's rounds.
Yeah.
Series C rounds.
Yeah, so it's both and, for sure. So the part of that is there's opportunity if you're just starting from scratch. And also, I mean, there's several ways to do it. You can raise money from scratch, or you can create a product and then get some traction and then raise money to pour gasoline on it, right? That's another way to go. So we'll look at one more thing here. I'll pull this up on my screen here. So we do have more news about central bank digital currencies. So what's the quick take on this in terms of just the actual information?
Yeah, just to machine gun it really quick. So China has debuted its digital CBDC, the digital yuan at the Olympics. So this can be used in the Olympic Village right now by the athletes. There's been 164 different entities within China that are testing out their CBDCs. It's interesting to note, of course, because while they're experimenting and trying out their CBDC, crypto is banned in China.
Yeah, it's really interesting here. So we've been talking about CBDCs a lot on this channel. So if you're just tuning in, or maybe you're not totally sure like what we're talking about here, a CBDC is a central bank digital currency. So essentially, it is a digital currency that's owned by a country, essentially, that is maybe in many cases is just a digital version of whatever the currency they already issue is. So if we had, for example, if we had a CBDC here in the United States, it would just be a digital US dollar controlled and issued by the government, where it actually represents certain dollars that are supposed to be in circulation in some other form. Okay. So CBDC, we've been talking about CBDCs as an inevitability, I've always thought. So there's a very mixed opinion on CBDCs. Some people think that they're anti-crypto, that they're basically just there to track you, right? And that they, they're completely centralized as opposed to a decentralized cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, for example, that is not controlled by a central entity. So this is a really, really polarizing topic. This is really important because we're actually seeing the CBD that's been talked about for a long time actually roll out. Okay, they've been ideas. They've sort of just been saying this is coming, saying this is coming, saying this is coming, and they're here. Okay, so this is not widely distributed to the entire population. It doesn't look like, but it looks like we are seeing the real thing in its final form on the ground. So this is a big moment.
Yeah. The Bahamas and Nigeria also have CBDCs already released. So China's kind of, it's not the first, but would definitely be the largest if they roll that out. The Federal Reserve of the United States also has plans for CBDC, but they're very much further behind than China and every other, the Bahamas, Nigeria, in releasing this. There's some great reports there that do detail some of their plans, but they seem to be years away from this. So for the time being, we got crypto.
Yeah, totally. And you mentioned earlier about basically crypto being banned, but CBDCs being a thing. I mean, I think that's going to be really common. The whole idea is to push you towards using a CBDC as a superior alternative to these, crazy Wild West cryptocurrencies, right? Yeah. And I don't think how I'd see that more playing out in the United States is I don't think the U.S. is going to ban crypto because, we don't know for sure, right?
It's all speculation.
It's all speculation, right? But my opinion is no, because what the incentives are. Because think about how much tax revenue you would lose out on GDP, all that type of stuff if you ban crypto. It just doesn't look like the right move. If the U.S. were to move towards a CBDC, it'd be way easier to let just tax crypto as normal. Don't regulate most cryptos, but regulate stable coins, because that's what is the largest direct competitor to a central bank digital currency. And then make those regulations so cumbersome that the incentive is to use the CBDC instead of the stable coin. But then you can have all these other cryptos as long as we can tax them. So that's the most likely outcome, in my opinion. That opinion might change over time in light of new evidence, but at this point in time, that's how I could see it playing out.
Yeah, I'll say take a look at that fear and greed index, because I think
let's take a look at that.
We need some greed.
Well, it's interesting though. We can kind of take a look really quickly at the crypto markets. The crypto fear and greed index is one thing I want to call out right now. Of course, we've been seeing some green in the markets. Let's actually just pull it up here. I'm just going to pull up CoinGecko. It's not going to be super sophisticated. We're not going to get over on TradingView just now, but we have seen lots of cryptos we've seen recovery, right? If you look at the past 7 days, I see a lot of people online talking about this looking like a disbelief rally because everybody's just goes completely bearish, and the market's moving in the opposite direction of popular sentiment. And sentiment is changing pretty fast. Now, we don't exactly know what this is going to mean long term. But look, just last month, we lived in extreme fear in terms of social sentiment of 23. Right? I think we peaked down to like the teens. But now we're back to neutral. Okay. And it's very possible we could swing over into the greed territory, which would, push the momentum in terms of people buying. So that's definitely something to keep our eye on.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. A lot of questions about CBDCs and what's going to happen with them right now. There's a great question about helium and helium mining. If you guys don't know what helium is, It's a really interesting project. Essentially, it's peer-to-peer cellular communications, like a cell tower, but peer-to-peer. And by purchasing their miner, you can purchase it online. It actually establishes what's called a long-fi connection. And so these miners themselves broadcast a peer-to-peer cellular communications tower, essentially. They're very big in the tech cities. If you go to the Helium website, you can see actual cellular coverage maps of like areas in which you could, make phone calls. And you'll see in major cities, like San Francisco, New York, Washington, D.C., there's actually pretty well established cellular, network areas already set up. So what do I think about helium mining? I think it's interesting for sure. And it's one of those infrastructure projects that I keep saying I'm very bullish about, and like a really great reason to, look at the crypto space, because that's definitely a use case that's just outside of like, hey, token go up.
Right. Yeah, totally. We got some cool incentives behind it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me answer one or two more questions here. Then I got off today. I know there was a community project that we had slated to talk about today. Let's just bump that to tomorrow.
Got it. Yeah.
So let's see here. Unless it's not like going under a launch, is it? I don't think so. Let's see here. CBC was created by MIT Labs, Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Is it undergoing phase 1 testing? Yeah, it's an update on what's going on here. You see anything else in the chat?
Yeah, Local Ghost asks, I missed the gold rush of iOS apps back in 2008. Am I late to start my Web3 journey?
I don't think so. Not at all.
We started this segment off by saying just the exact opposite, my friend. Actually, Wells Fargo acknowledges that right now crypto is just like the late 1990s. And even though they say they're not ready to invest and don't advise people to invest yet, that's because they're very bullish on what's about to be coming out. So yeah, you're still, it's not early, but you're still early. It's not like
here's
early,
the thing.
early.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about some of the most successful companies that you know of today, like got their hands dirty in a space that nobody cared about. So it's essentially front running an opportunity or preparing your skills before, a massive crowd went into that room where you built this house, right? Or you built your booth, whatever. I'm kind of mixing metaphors here, but the whole idea is think about like Amazon, right? .com bubble, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, all these guys went in and got their hands dirty because they saw that the fundamentals of what they were doing was going up while the stock prices were going down, right? Same thing with lots and lots and lots of other people. I mean, that's basically what I did in 2018 before I started, back when I had, 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, and now we're getting close to, 100 times that much. But one of the only reasons that's the case is because I was sitting there, acquiring the skills, the expertise, and doing videos when nobody cared about crypto. And then when a lot of people suddenly cared about it, you're in a pretty great position to ride that wave up. Okay. So I'm not telling you to do something I wouldn't personally do in this case. I think it's a huge opportunity for people to get their hands dirty and get those skills, because you could think about that as a huge opportunity. Like when the herd like just loses focus and doesn't care anymore, that's when it becomes quieter and you can focus and get the skills, because you need some time to get there, and you can be in a really strong position to ride that next wave when it comes out.
I love what you said there. Absolutely. I don't have too much to add in there besides, we're early, and don't think of this as like a short-term game. You're not going to get rich tomorrow. It's just statistically improbable. But if you, like Gregory said, if you build those skills over years, you'll get there. It's almost inevitability. But you have to apply yourself, be disciplined, don't give up, keep your eye on the prize, and just know it doesn't happen overnight. Right? Like, stick with it. That's why I have so much admiration for you, not to blow smoke or anything, but like you can take a look at your videos from back in 2017. You just see how consistent you were the entire time. Right? So that's why I have a lot of admiration for what you've been doing. That grind is real.
Yeah. Consistency pays off. At the end of the day, like I was saying, I like to give people advice to this channel that I would personally give myself, personally give people that I know, who I, care about in my normal life, my family, I mean, like, I'm telling you things that I would do. So, anyways, I need to wrap it up for today. Great stream, everybody. Great questions in the chat. Come back, see us same time tomorrow. As always, you can turn on notifications to find out about the streams whenever we go live. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. That really helps these videos out, so then more people can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fast at this technology as I am, you want to do exactly what we're talking about. Jump in the crypto space, jump on this opportunity. You can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I actually become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.